Hello everybody, my name is Laz. This is today's the Ruse. Once bitten, twice Spurs. Today is Wednesday the 24th of June and I'm going to talk a bit about Antonin Kinsky. Just for full disclosure, Kinský is actually one of my favourite players at Spurs, and he has been pretty much since he first arrived back in January 2025. Yeah. And when he first played, I was really impressed, not just with his ability on the ball, like he was able to play comfortably both on the left foot and the right foot, but also his composure coming into that situation at that time from the Czech league. That's pretty impressive for such a young keeper to do. Now I know that he did have some shaky moments and made some mistakes on basic things, on basic shot stopping. I'm aware of that. I agree and understand where their concerns come from. However, for me, when I look at a goalkeeper, I look at not only their ability to make the fundamentals, I also look for the ability to do something out of the ordinary, like get to shots where most keepers aren't able to. And for me, even in that period that he came in before, while we had so many injuries at the season before last, he did show some ability to make some world-class saves, that many keepers, not only in the Premier League, but just many keepers in general, aren't able to do. So for me, he has the potential to be a world-class goalkeeper, and I think that we should be keeping him and building a foundation around him. That's where it tails on to today's news, where it appears to be that Martin Dubravka's coming in as a backup to support Kinský, and I think this is a very, very wise move. It's a wise move, and I'll tell you why. Dubravka is Slovakian. Kinský is Czech. Now, obviously they're neighbouring countries. Not only that, but they can speak to each other pretty much and understand each other in the same language, both in their respective languages. So having somebody not only from a similar culture, having somebody that's older as well from that culture is a very wise move, because he will be able to give him, some tips and advice in his native language. You understand? So things will just be able to seep in, at least what I imagine, things or advice, tips that maybe Kinský needs to improve on. They may be able to seep in just that bit quicker because Dubravka is able to speak. They're able to speak a lot more clearer in their native language. One thing about if people who have to speak more than one language, what you realise is that although however fluent you may be in your second languages, things just never quite come at the same speed and comprehension that they do when you're obviously speaking in your mother tongue. Not only that though, Dubravka is a pretty handy backup goalkeeper. He also has good ability on the ball. He has ability to make like top level saves. We've seen that when he's played at Newcastle before, so I think that's a good move. And I also think that with Kinský, he needed that confidence from the manager that he was number one. There was an interview that he did with one of the American channels at the end of our final game against Everton, and he spoke about how he'd never really been given a chance, and obviously under Frank, and it was so obvious to me, and I'm so glad that he was able to say that, because you did hear rumours, murmurs, and, in the nose sources, whatever, saying that Kinský wasn't really applying himself well, that he wasn't really professional. But I didn't really buy that shit. One, because I'm not there, I don't know. And two, if you've ever been in a situation, I'm not sure many people maybe you have if you're watching, but it appears as though not many people, just judging from just online discourse, have been in a position whereby some teacher or mentor or boss doesn't like you for whatever reason that may be, however petty or inconspicuous. And you may be professional, you may be doing exactly as you're asked, but that person may have something against you. And that happens in life. Not everybody gets along, but that doesn't mean that you should just take rumours take rumours on their face value and just say, oh, because so and so, just because 4 people say this, it must be right. It's likely to be right, but it's not always the case. Anyways, as I said, I'm glad that he came out and addressed that, and you can see why. I mean, because if you think about it, he was never given a chance. Vicario had an injury since God knows when. The staff allowed him to play on, and they didn't give Kinský a chance. Nor did they even give Austin a chance, for that matter. And I'll tell you another thing as well. This is just from my experience as a Nigerian, I support Super Eagles. So the World Cup isn't really as interesting for me at the moment, unfortunately. But anyways, we've had a situation whereby the first choice, a new, young, exciting goalkeeper comes into the squad. And the first choice goalkeeper feels kind of threatened by their position. So what happened with us is that our first choice our number 1 for Nigeria, was actually playing through not 1 but 2 injuries. 2, not European 3, 2. He was playing through injury, and part of it is because he didn't want to actually lose his place to the young keeper, and that keeper's actually, his name's Maduka Okoye. He didn't want to lose his place because I think he felt that once he did lose his place, he may never get it back. So he played through his injury, played well, but eventually Nwabali found himself without a club. And so since then, Okoye's come in, proven that should be Nigeria's number 1, and he's playing well for Udinese as well. I bring this comparison up because Nigerian fans slaughtered Maduka Okoye when he made a mistake in a knockout game. It was in the African Nations against Tunisia. It was a long shot. It never should have gone in. Made a mistake. But he was slaughtered by Nigerian fans, media, etc. And he was never really given a chance really to come back properly. But then we actually got in a progressive manager who likes to play good football and has a system and a way of playing that suits our players. And since he's come in, now Okoye's got his chance, and I'm sure he'll be the number 1 for years to come. And that, I believe, will be the same thing with Kinský. I think that Frank Ball was just not suitable for him. I think that Vicario, consciously or otherwise, played through the injury, knowing that he may not get his place back once Kinský comes into the side. And lo and behold, it's happened. So, as I said, just to round it up, I think that Kinský should be our number 1 going forward. I think we should give him the confidence, that he is the number one, and obviously the coach, the team, the club have done that by bringing in Dubravka to kind of, you know, gives him someone to talk to, chat to, and learn from as well. Very wise move. I'm looking forward to seeing Kinský as the number one next year, well, this season coming, and as they're actually selling the goalkeeper shirts, I might actually buy a Kinský number one shirt. Hopefully he's got, because he's genuinely got potential to be world class. If you think differently, if you think you're worried about Kinský going in to the new season, that you think it's a big risk, let me know. I'll give you the example of Courtois and Peter Cech at Chelsea. People were scared of Courtois, but look at him, he's the best keeper in the world right now. So I would say, to wrap it up, keep Kinský and only sell him if you can get Thibaut Courtois in. Otherwise, build that back line with him in it. Thank you very much for watching, and à plus.